Microsoft and Xbox are looking real good going into 2025.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Everybody, welcome back to another Xvault gaming video. Xvault here, and yes, today we're back with another salty batch file, and courtesy of part 2, basically, of the Game Awards, the Fallout, Astrobot, playing the victim mentality. That's what the Xbox fanboys and shills do. So we have a lot to go over, so without further ado, let's go ahead and jump to it. Alright, so like I was saying, what we're going to do is get right to the meat of this here. We're going to get to the part 2 of it. There may even be a part 3 because folks still aren't handling this well. We'll have to wait and see. Let's see what we encompass here. But first off, we have Bitch of Truth here. Yes, Beast of Truth, his real name Bitch of Truth. Going off here, stating crazy how Sony devs who have actually want to make sequels to some of their most unique games, but because they don't get high Metacritic scores, the company turns its back on them insane. They canceled Days Gone 2, 4-player Spider-Man, and Twisted Metal to give you Astrobot with a sad emoji, basically. So let me tell you what, this is the most truthful that Beast has ever been here, right? On part of the fact that, you know, Sony devs do want to continue on older IPs, Resistance, Killzone, all the other dormant stuff that hopefully we do get to see at some point in one way, shape, or form, right? That part I agree with. However, the other part, this is where it just takes a complete 180 again, because here we go. Just throwing crap at the wall, seeing what sticks. They canceled Days Gone 2, 4-player Spider-Man, and Twisted Metal to give you Astrobot. That did not happen. They did not say, you guys, we're done with Days Gone. We're done with Twisted Metal. We're done with all these other IPs that we want to have sequels for Astrobot alone. Again, it takes just a small amount of research to look into this a little further before you put your foot in your mouth, you moron. What you're doing here is just throwing crap at the wall, like I said, right? Astrobot is a AA game, and no game was put on the back burner or canceled at the very least in regards to Astrobot. The game's a success. One of the highest rated games out there today, was the Game of the Year at the award shows, and for many others, it was the Game of the Year for them as well. Cope, seed, however you want to do that. Let's continue here, of course. Now, what I want to do is just show a few receipts. Last video I said I have some receipts up and coming. Here they are. They're touting on exclusives, Xbox exclusives, and I mean the normal group, the normal circle, all that stuff. Now, we want to talk about Outer Worlds 2 being just nonchalantly shown that it's going to be on PlayStation 5 as well. That was announced in the Game Awards as well, but here we have these beautiful receipts, none other than Colt Eastwood himself, because here we go. Xbox Game Studios head Matt Booty and marketing lead Aaron Greenberg both said, in fact, that Obsidian's next game and possible sequel for Outer Worlds is going to be exclusive to the Xbox ecosystem. Now again, used car salesmen, all of them have been lying, have continued to lie. Anybody with any morale of common sense has told these shills, frauds, fanboys, anybody under the sun, what was happening. The truth is right in front of their face. They refuse to believe it. And then they turn around right now and they're trying to act like this was never a thing. Of course it was going to happen. All this crap, right? Nah. The receipts are right here. As we continue to go, Colt Eastwood continues in another post, right? Outer Worlds IP belongs to Xbox Game Studios. The sequel will be exclusive to Xbox and Microsoft, meaning it won't go to PS5 or Nintendo. So you heard it here first, Fonz. It will not go to PlayStation 5 or Nintendo. Well, it looks like part of that is already broken, and it is going to PlayStation, and the odds are this might even end up being on the Nintendo Switch 2, if that's what it ends up being called, right? The successor to the Nintendo Switch. So you're already half wrong again, which you're usually full wrong. So odds are you're going to be fully wrong, and this will probably head on the Nintendo Switch 2. Quite a possibility. But we're not done there with the receipts, folks. We got AKA Andrea Piccinini, Joseph Cruz, Extension, The Catfish, the rebranding. It's so hard to keep track of all these monikers that they entail here, but as you can see, it depends on what is your perception of big exclusives. For many Xbox owners, Forza is a bigger exclusive than any PlayStation game. Huge RPGs like Starfield, Fable, Elder Scrolls, Outer Worlds, Avowed. Xbox owns the biggest first-person shooter franchises. PlayStation has none of that. So again, just a receipt here showing that, of course, we already have Outer Worlds checked off. More than likely, we're going to see Elder Scrolls, the next Elder Scrolls, going to be multi-platform because, well, they want to make those sales. They're going to sell it on other platforms because that ecosystem is gone, ship, sailed, you name it. So you got to love it. Well, technically, you know what, Andrea, Joseph Cruz, Ascension, it looks like PlayStation will also be having the biggest FPS games out there. So why does it matter? I guess why does it matter if you want to be coming at it at that angle? But here we have that beautiful receipt. We have them. The internet lives forever. You say and post something, it's there. So you better be careful with what you say. But they don't care. They do not care. That's why we have plenty of receipts and it will not ever end. And I will go on to another separate subject on regards to that in another video. But we continue here. So one more here. General MLD, of course. The big circle of L's here. Outer Worlds 2 is Xbox exclusive. Almost like they own the IP, thinking emoji, right? You talk fantasy, but it's you that doesn't understand basic legal ownership. LOL, good day. LOL, good day to you, General MLD. I think it's time you just do that full circle, crawl back into your hole like a cockroach, and, come back out a few months later or a couple months later and say something stupid again and just have egg on your face once again. But again, your track record is very, very bad. Anything you state is horrible. The goalpost moving, the shifting, it's awful. We've all caught on. It's a running joke at this point. I would be flat out embarrassed if that was me. But, you do enough embarrassment for almost the entirety of the internet itself. So good job. Now, as we keep moving on here, what I want to go over here for you folks is, you know what? When we're talking about the Game Awards, right, I just want to show a quick picture. Take a look at this from Amazon here. This is a pretty recent picture here. Game Awards, for those that think it doesn't matter, it's just a meaningless reward, right? It is kind of meaningless to a point, but it does matter. As it continues to grow, garner attention and audience and hearsay and whatever the case is, right? It has its influence. As you can see here, what do we have in common here? We have some Game of the Year contenders. We have Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on there. Obviously, college football finally making its return. It makes sense it's still high up there, right? We have Astrobot. We have Silent Hill 2. We have Metaphor, right? We have all these games that are also being mentioned multiple times within the Game Awards itself. Notoriety is key. You have Game Awards being advertised on all sorts of social media. You have word of mouth. You have the fanboys, right, on social media. Whether it's positive or negative, that creates buzz, and buzz creates eyes, and then you research it or look into it as a consumer, and lo and behold, you're going to check it out because, like, hey, if this game is being in high regards, being held in high regards to a specific tier, a special tier, if you will, and what happens? You get that notoriety, you get those sales, you get everything that follows under that umbrella, right? Is that just how that works? It is. So it is a big deal. So those that say that the Game Awards isn't a big deal, it may not be as big of who takes home the actual award, right? It's going to be all part of the committee and so on and so forth, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. But ultimately, as long as it's getting nominated, that's a huge, huge deal. Like, we'll just take something completely off of gaming. We all probably heard of or maybe seen some episodes of Ink Master or something like that, right? Guess what? Just because you don't win Ink Master for a season or ever in a season, if you're on there even for a few episodes, what does that do? That creates notoriety, that creates consumers on the eyes, and if you happen to be around the shop or whatever the case is or in town, you're going to create more business, you're going to create more revenue, you're going to get more eyes on you, you're going to get that notoriety. That's essentially how it works. Just a small example, right? So just wanted to share that with you before we move on. But let's continue here. So what I love here is we have Risk It for the Biscuit back yet again. This guy's almost had to lean into the sheer absurdity of himself as of late, but here we are. It's very clear that those who sit on the board and vote for the Game Awards just don't really game, which I'm not a big grammar person, like I have to call it out, right? I'm not going to say the word. But The apostrophes are wrong here, and it bothers me. Just pointing it out real quick, just bothers me. So I would just essentially say it's very clear that those who sit on the board and vote for the Game Awards just don't really game. No apostrophes really needed, right? I just don't think any of those are needed. But anyways, let's keep going here. We'll address that. It's a symptom of hiring journalists to learn to game instead of hiring gamers to learn to become journalists. That's completely incorrect. Not all journalists or non-gamers or haven't gamed before they got their journalist jobs, but that's a whole separate video if we wanted to go into detail there. Xbox tax and now a third-party tax. So now we're just adding on random crap here. We're adding on random crap here. Xbox tax has been a thing for a while. They still believe in it. Risk It still believes there's an Xbox tax for some reason, and now there's a third-party tax. A third-party tax. What are you talking about? Plenty of third-party games have won Game of the Year and have had utter notoriety throughout other social media aspects and Game Awards and other award shows. What are we talking about? Overwatch won Game of the Year. That was third-party before they were acquired. Witcher 3 won Game of the Year. A ton of third-party games. It Takes Two won Game of the Year. What third-party tax are you talking about? What are you talking about? Do you see how stupid you are and nobody takes you seriously? This is absolutely ludicrous to stop and not post something so dumb. And then your audience, for the followers that you do have, sit there and go, oh, yeah, this is right. No, what the hell are you talking about? So stupid. And then again, we're going to address the top like I said. It's very clear to those that sit on the board and vote for the Game Awards just don't really game. Are you serious? Do you know who's part of the board? People game. They game. They take notice and do the gaming as well. They do the gaming as well. How stupid. This is just such a stupid post. And man, I'll tell you what, somebody gave me the idea to do an end of the year, and I may have to do that for next year because I didn't archive a ton of stuff. I'd have to go back, do all this weird stuff. But to do a top 10 or so dumbest posts of the year, right? And this would honestly be in the top 10 dumbest posts of the year. We've had some dumb ones, folks. I have a lot of videos still up, obviously. Go check those out. By all means, feel free in the community to make your own list between what we've had on this channel. But this has got to be up there. But I digress. Let's keep going here. 4-5 here, creating a brilliant post. It never was more obvious that Jeff is a Sony shill. What a shame to give Game of the Year to literally a PlayStation advertisement game. I'm never watching one of your shows again. Blank you. So he's upset, showing the fact that he did block the Game Awards and did block Jeff Keighley, and I'm sure this totally kept Jeff up all night. He laid in bed and goes, you know what? I really did 4-5 wrong here. And what can I do to rectify this? What can I do to change the outcome going forward? I hope I can win this person back. What can we do here? How ridiculous is this? He's a Sony shill. Again, we've gone over this. If anything, he loves to glaze Hideo Kojima. Rightfully so. Brilliant man. Nothing wrong with that, right? Number two, again, how many... Is it his fault? He's not even on the committee. He's not on the committee. He created it. He helped set up the committee. He has no say over the committee. He has a say over the advertisements, setting up the show, length, who's there, blah, 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 all this stuff. But he has nothing to do with who gets chosen. We're looking at, you're so upset of a game that got the highest Metacritic and OpenCritic of the year, at least one of them, right? And here we are. There's nothing to be upset about. You're acting like some sort of critically panned game ended up getting Game of the Year. You're acting like this was EA's or Ubisoft's Avatar game that got Game of the Year or something like that, right? Which wasn't a horrible game, but it was just kind of like, here's a game, right? But what are we doing here? What are we doing here, folks, to get this upset over these games? And Indy missed the calling. We'll see what happens next year. Probably not happening, especially if Grand Theft Auto 6 gets dropped next year. You have Monster Hunter, Wilds. You have so many great games coming out next year. It's not looking good for Indy. It's not looking good for Avowed. It's not looking good for any Xbox first-party game again, but we'll have to kind of wait and see. We'll see, right? I'm not 100% saying they're out of the running. We don't know yet, so we'll have to wait and see. But let's continue here because what I want to do is show one more thing, and it's a quick video of another podcast here. Let's take a look, and you're gonna see what we have to say after this. But they are clearly, this is some S tier salt, folks. S tier salt. Go ahead and take a look.
This moment was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. Yes, they weren't clapping. No one should have entertained this bullshit. Phil, if you zoom into him, he's doing the side eye. He's doing a side eye. And who wouldn't freaking be sitting there doing a side eye, rolling their eyes, wondering what in the hell did we just watch? What just happened? Matt Booty's like, I can't even look at this shit. And Aaron is back there like, oh, no, they freaking didn't.
Facts.
And that's just the reality. So they're not the only ones confused. They're not the only ones annoyed, but they've been going through it for mad freaking long. And no one cares about it. No one has shit to say about it. That's acceptable. That's okay for them to release a game like Hellblade 2 and for Astrobot to win Game of the Year. Get the fuck out of here with that shit.
All right. I still to this day don't know who the individual is who was talking the whole time. I was very just kind of annoyed at the same time because not only was it that top tier salt, they just can't get over it. Now they're dissecting that picture of Phil, Matt Booty, Aaron Greenberg, and showing it and, you know, acknowledging how salty they are and upset they are and giving the side eye. They're so upset over Astrobot's success because it's not deemed worthy in their eyes. Because their opinion, guess what? Guess what? Like we kind of addressed at the beginning of this video, these are opinions. They are the opinions of the committee. Who won Player's Voice? We addressed this a little bit last video. Who won the Player's Voice? Black Myth Wukong won the Player's Voice. Whether that was right or wrong or whatever, because we had some other odd games in there as well that had some gotcha stuff. If you voted for him in there, address that as well. And I don't agree with that. But the point is, the Player's Voice. So if you're upset about the committee's choice, Player's Voice got Black Myth Wukong. Oh, wait, that's not on Xbox either. I can see why you're upset. It's really simple. It's super simple out there for you Xbox fanboys, shills, frauds, whatever you want to do. Keep holding that torch. Keep holding that bright light. It's not happening. It's not changing. Your games are going on other platforms. That bed has been made. We say this every video. I don't know why I have to continue to say it because it's not getting through to their heads. That ship has sailed. It's done. So you got two options. You either get a PlayStation 5 along with a Nintendo Switch. I think that's a great companion device, whether it's the Switch 1 or 2. And you get those games day one for Sony first-party games, and then you're also going to get those Xbox games. It may not be day and date, but everything's going to be there. If you truly care about gaming and playing those games and put the shilling and frauding away, you would do that. But I'm not done. I'm not done. You can also get a PC, because that's the other end of the stick here. That's the other end of the line, right? You can still get Game Pass. You can still get the Xbox games day one. You may just have to wait a little bit longer for the PlayStation first-party games, but those are more than likely probably coming as well. So you got two options here. So why you want to sit there on the Xbox console, if you want a console game, the choice is clear. Get yourself a PlayStation 5 if you want a console game. Get that companion piece with the Nintendo Switch. And if you don't, and you don't care about consoles anymore, still get you a Nintendo Switch as a good companion piece. Then go ahead and go to PC and be that Xbox refugee and start shilling and frauding over there. At least you have a platform to do that for, right? As simple as that. Collect your tears, collect your voice, collect that salt that you've been spewing everywhere, and buck up, because this ride ain't over yet. Not by a long shot. You got choices. I suggest you make the right ones that work out for you. But that being said, we will go ahead and wrap up the video here, folks. I really do appreciate that. Again, we may have a part 3. We'll have to see and sift through what I got for the salt, of course. But I appreciate you making it through the entirety of the video. If you haven't already, definitely leave a like, comment. Would love to hear from you. Both of those things help out the algorithm. If you haven't already, definitely consider subscribing. We are well on our way to that 3,000 sub goal. I really appreciate each and every one of you taking the time to check out these videos and doing any support in any way, shape, or form. So thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody. And just remember, Don't be a salty batch. And we'll see y'all next time on the next Xvault gaming video. And until then, take care.